Christianity. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. Well, you probably have. It's the world's most followed religion. Churches, popes, holy wars, Christmas songs in November. Christianity has been kind of a big deal. But what if it wasn't? What if Rome crushed it before it ever got big? Let's say instead of converting, the Romans just said, "You're eating a guy's body and drinking his blood? That's gross. Feed them to lions." All of them? All of them. And that was that. So Christianity gets wiped out. No churches, no apostles, no turn the other cheek. Rome stays pagan. Eventually, Rome still collapses because of inflation, bad leadership, and a bunch of angry Goths. But now, there's no pope to rally Europe. Instead of Charlemagne and the Holy Roman Empire, we get the barbarian empire. It's like the Holy Roman Empire, but everyone smells worse and nobody writes anything down. With no unified church, Europe stays tribal longer. Germanic warlords keep fighting each other over land, cattle, and who gets to be called the Axe. I am Olaf the Axe. You said I could be the axe. Too late, you're the spoon. Meanwhile, Islam rises in the 600s like in real life. But now, instead of clashing with a powerful Christian Europe, they run into this. Who rules this land? Some guy named Bjorn? Where is he? Drunk, in a swamp. So the Islamic caliphates expand faster across the Mediterranean. Southern France, Italy, and even parts of Germany go Islamic. Not by war, but because they have plumbing. Wait, you guys wash your hands? Yes? I'm in. With no Christian church, the Crusades don't happen. No Deus Vult, no Jerusalem bloodbath, no Richard the Lionheart. Instead, the barbarian empire decides to invade the Middle East anyway. But not for God. For goats. They have really fluffy goats down there. We ride at dawn. It goes badly. They don't know the terrain. They can't read maps. They bring snowshoes to the desert. Is he wearing a bear? Just let him tire himself out. Turns out, without Christianity teaching love thy neighbor, or maybe don't stab your cousin over bread, the barbarian empire becomes less of a kingdom and more of a permanent mosh pit. They fight like wild animals and also like enemies. Their lack of unity nearly gets them wiped out. But once they band together under one warlord, who smells like soup and rage, things start turning around. Once they finish headbutting each other in Europe, they turn east, no longer chasing goats, just violence and vibes. The refined Islamic empires are caught off guard. One caliph stares from his palace window as a barbarian horde approaches, half naked, covered in mud, and somehow already drunk. Who are they? We don't know. They just scream and eat everything. And honestly, if the mighty Romans couldn't stop them, algebra definitely won't. Cities like Baghdad and Damascus hold out for a while, but eventually fall to waves of hairy men shouting, "For axe!" Libraries are trampled, markets are flipped, someone rides a donkey backwards. The Middle East doesn't fall to religion, it falls to raw, unstoppable confusion. Fast forward to 1492, still no Christianity. Spain and Portugal are now just gold-obsessed beach people. No God, gold, and glory. Just gold, and maybe glory, if there's time. Columbus still sails west, but he doesn't plant a cross in the ground. He plants a big sign that says, "Mine now." The age of exploration becomes even more brutal. No missionaries to argue, maybe don't enslave them. Just kings going, do they have gold teeth? Yes. Take the teeth. Colonized nations don't get converted. They get looted. But this leads to a surprising twist. Since no one's pretending it's for God, the brutality is obvious. And people start revolting sooner. The Americas rebel earlier. India rises up faster. Africa gets fed up before anyone can say Victorian era. Even Europe can't hold on. By 1700, Spain collapses under rebellion, inflation, and bad mustaches. Britain tries holding its empire together. But with no church to help control colonies, it falls apart too. So, how does this affect today? For starters, no Vatican. Rome's just known for fountains and good cheese. The Pope is just some old guy yelling at pigeons. Education spreads faster, because science never had to argue with religion. Darwin publishes his theory, and no one cares. We came from monkeys. Cool. Anyway, want to see my goat? The US still forms, but the Constitution doesn't say freedom of religion. It says, please, just don't sacrifice people. Global conflicts look different too. World War I still happens. But without Christian nationalism fueling some countries, it's shorter. World War II? Maybe still happens. But Hitler can't blame Jews for killing Christ, because in this timeline nobody remembers Christ. So, what if Christianity never became dominant? Europe stays tribal and messy longer, science moves faster, empires fall earlier, and everyone's just slightly more into goats. Sure, people still fight, humans gonna human, but at least they're not fighting over whose invisible friend is angrier. Also, Santa. Yeah, never invented, sorry. But do you know what did exist? Dinosaurs. I wonder what would happen if dinosaurs never went extinct.